Lions have risen from the ashes now that the regrettable ownership of Dan Snyder has ended and the Commanders are in the NFC Championship. When you look at the NFC now, it's the Dallas Cowboys that are getting sad. They have not made the NFC Championship since 1995. That is a long time ago. I saw a story this morning, and I thought it was a fake account. Ian Rappaport is reporting that Brian Schottenheimer is the lead candidate. Forget about the Cowboys window closing. It's getting boarded up. I got nothing against Brian Schottenheimer. He's never been a head coach. This is a hard job. It's not very talented. And his last two jobs, Seattle and Jacksonville, he got pushed out the door. So is this another case of Jerry Jones hiring somebody that needs him? Again, his dad was a great coach. I got nothing against him, but it feels DEFCON 1 to me. I mean, you had Dan Quinn in the building. He's now crushing it in Washington. You had Kellen Moore in the building. He's now crushing it in Philadelphia. So the Chicago Bears, I don't believe, interviewed Brian Schottenheimer. And again, they were interviewing local movie critics and baristas. They interviewed everybody. So the Dallas Cowboys, I'm serious. It's like an intervention. Like somebody has to take away the helicopter keys from Grandpa. This is weird. Like they messed up on the coaching search, so they weren't even allowed to interview Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. They didn't interview Mike Vrabel. This is, I mean, I'm looking at the Cowboy head coaching search right now. Wow, is all I can say at the odds. This is crazy.
Okay. I really want to talk about this because it is. It really is kind of absurd what the Dallas Cowboys are doing here. When you really think about it, and this is why I battle with Cowboys fans a lot, because they don't like what I have to say, and but what I'm saying is just accurate. I mean, this team has done nothing in 2019. They haven't even made an NFC Championship game. You realize that Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels were both born and raised, went to grade school and college, got into the pros. They lived their entire life. Both of these players have lived their entire lives and made it to an NFC Championship game before the Dallas Cowboys throughout their entire existence of their life. I mean, like that, it's kind of wild. And they're both NFC East quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts has now gone to 2 NFC Championship games. Jaden Daniels in year one, an NFC Championship game. Dak Prescott has 2 playoff wins. 2 playoff wins. And it's just kind of crazy. And then the people who are really trying to cope will be like, yeah, well, how many Super Bowls? And it's like, dude, you realize most teams only have like 1 Super Bowl, 2. And in fact, there's still a chunk of teams, like 10 or however many teams, that don't even have a Super Bowl. But if you're not even making an NFC Championship game, you're not even sniffing a Super Bowl. And again, if you want to keep living, well, we were so great, we won Super Bowls in 1991 and 1992. How many Super Bowls do the Eagles have? Cool. If you want to keep hanging your hat on that, be my guest. Live in the era when we literally didn't even have cell phones. You're pulling out a Zach Morris telephone. Cool. Hey, did you hear that the Cowboys won a Super Bowl? That's cool. Good job. You have a massive brick as a telephone. Was the last time that the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. I mean, that's really cool. I'm happy for you. I mean, the only reason why they're even talked about is because they're so popular and they have so many fans. But this team has been as irrelevant as the Jacksonville Jaguars. In fact, the Jacksonville Jaguars have made more conference championship games. So have the Raiders. So have all of these really awful bad teams. Like, that's the problem. That's what I try to highlight to Cowboys fans. This is fundamentally a poorly run franchise at this point. And again, like, you can say, well, we won 12 games 3 years in a row. And it's like, cool. Jaden Daniels didn't win 12 games, but he's in the NFC Championship game. Or excuse me, I think Jane Daniels did win 12 games. I forget what their official record was. I think they pulled off a last-minute win against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know, man. Again, you can talk about how Dak Prescott's better than Jalen Hurts. You can talk about how Jaden Daniels and the Commanders are not that special, that Dan Quinn blew it for the Cowboys last year or whatever. And it's like, Jalen Hurts now is in multiple NFC Championship games, maybe multiple Super Bowls. Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels, NFC Championship game. And this is where it's always funny for Cowboys fans, because they want to try to act like conference championship games don't matter, when we know they do. When you're a top team in the NFL, reaching the conference championship game is a legitimate. It's why we count it. It's why we say Andy Reid has been to 9 conference championship, whatever the number, a lot more than that. He's been to 5 just with the Philadelphia Eagles. So we know that's an accomplishment. You're top 4. You're top 4. That's a huge thing. You're competing for a champion. You get a ring for winning the NFC or the AFC. It is a real accomplishment. Accomplishment that the players really love and want. And that's what I've said for years, that the Philadelphia Eagles baseline is getting to NFC championship games. That is what they seek to do. And they've gotten to 3 in the last 7. And they've gotten to 2 Super Bowls in the last 7. And they've won a Super Bowl in the last 7. And the Cowboys haven't done anything in the last 29 going on 30. Can't you see the difference? So again, if you want to keep just saying, yeah, well, the Cowboys have more Super Bowl wins, again, that's fine. If you really, really want to keep doing that, be my guest. That's like the Patriots saying, yeah, well, we have all these Super Bowls. It's like, okay, so what? I was with Tom Brady. Congratulations. Congratulations. The Dallas Cowboys were really great when they had Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and, everyone else. What have you done in the last 29 years? What have you done since Google was invented? Tell me, what have you done? What have you done since AOL was invented? What have you done since AOL was invented, was the most amazing company in the history of the universe, and then collapsed? What have you done since the .com bubble? What have you done since the housing bubble? Seriously. What have you done? And I'm not trolling the fan base. I swear, I'm not. I talk to a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans. I know how much you love the Cowboys. I feel bummed for you all. I really do. I genuinely do. I even said it to someone who I've had a lot of debates with over these months about Dak Prescott and all of this. And I'm like, man, this has got to be rough. You're watching the Eagles Commanders in the NFC Championship. I mean, that's brutal. Like that's a game that I feel like a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans would just skip. And that's a bummer, because I'm sure the Eagles, their worst NFC Championship game would be Cowboys-Giants. And I feel like probably for Cowboys fans, it would be Giants-Eagles as well. I feel like everyone can admit they all don't like the Giants, but I feel like the Eagles hate the Cowboys the most, and the Cowboys hate the Eagles the most in terms of the fan bases. And the Washington Commanders, for such a bulk of the fans, have been so irrelevant that I think for the Cowboys and the Eagles are kind of like, oh, okay, this is fine. You've been literally nothing for 2 decades. Like, we can cheer for you now that you got Jaden. Like, they can kind of be like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Although I know Eagles fans are definitely not rooting, obviously, for the Commanders now. But that's now changed, because now the Commanders are here, which makes the lives harder for the Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles and the Cowboys have been able to own this division for a really long time. Even if they don't win the division every year, they've at least have been clearly, outside of a couple random years with Eli Manning, they clearly have been the main franchises. They're the teams that everyone talks about year after year after year. Going into the season, people say that the Cowboys can win the Super Bowl, that the Eagles can win the Super Bowl. The Eagles are the only team in this NFC that have actually won a Super Bowl in the last decade, who have even been to a Super Bowl in the last decade, and they've been to multiple. But now the Commanders are here. So that makes the lives harder for everyone involved. And this is the solution. This is the answer. Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, again, I don't even know what to say. I really don't. And Commanders fans are happy about this, and Eagles fans are happy about this, and they